Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button. Guys, I put up a Ryan Garcia, Javante Davis. Go and smash the like button on that video. I'm going to talk a couple of issues, a couple of topics that need to be discussed from an American scene and a UK scene. Jermall Charlo has said that he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez in Christmas time. Is he saying this year, Christmas time? Like, does he want to fight him in a couple of weeks? But he says Canelo doesn't want the fight. I find that kind of bizarre when Canelo just fought. He fought in November. Didn't he? Yeah, Canelo fought November 5th, didn't he? November 5th or November 7th. So Canelo's not going to fight in 7-8 weeks after having a fight, so that's pretty ridiculous by Jermall Charlo. Listen, I like the Charlos, but I think sometimes the Charlos, they don't do themselves any favors with the stuff that, especially Jermall at the minute. Like Jermall saying that Canelo doesn't want to fight him and he wants to fight Canelo and Canelo's not interested. Canelo is interested. Canelo even said he'd fight Jermall Charlo, to be honest with you. And I think stylistically the fight favors Canelo when you look at it. I think what we saw is Jermall Charlo was sitting ringside when Canelo was fighting Caleb Plant, and Jermall Charlo was saying things on the line that Canelo's tired. I know I can beat him. He was saying things on those lines, and yeah, that's all good from the outside saying that. But when you're inside against Canelo, it's a completely different ball game. I think a lot of people look on the outside, and Canelo might not look so spectacular on the outside, but when you get on the inside with him, it's a lot harder than what it looks like, from the outside. And listen, these guys are professional fighters. They know, I don't know whether they're just playing up for the cameras, but they know how good Canelo is. Jermall himself, his brother, actually said that, Canelo Alvarez is a special fighter and he's the best in the world right now. And he's right. Canelo is the best in the world right now. But Jermall, I don't know. Canelo's definitely not afraid to fight Jermall Charlo. That's for sure. To say that, he's ducking or avoiding, believe me, Canelo Alvarez is not afraid to fight Jermall Charlo, to be honest with you. I think that would be a big fight, and I think down the road that fight could probably happen. I do worry about Canelo now coming back down to 168. I don't see that happening in 175, and I'm not sure Jermall Charlo's at 160. I don't think that's going to be a practical fight. Canelo fight might be out the question for Jermall Charlo now. Because if Canelo only moves to 175, there's no way that Jermall Charlo is going to, in my opinion, move to 175 to fight him. Maybe for a Canelo fight, who knows, but I doubt it. And same with Andrade. I think these guys need to start fighting one another and forget about Canelo. At the minute, for me, they seem to be too fixated on Canelo rather than worrying and focusing on themselves, because to be brutally honest with you, they need to worry about each other. And I don't understand the obsession. I understand Canelo's got a huge, fighting Canelo brings a huge payday, right? So it's obvious why people want to fight him. But you can create your own legacy. You can, make huge checks by fighting the other top guys in around your division. You can make yourself more commercially commercially appealing, and make yourself a guy that, Canelo has to look at because the fans are demanding it, and the fight's so big where the fans are actually demanding it. Where at the minute, there's no one really demanding Canelo to fight Jermall Charlo. It's not a fight which everyone's crying out about, or everyone's, shouting about. It's not really that big a fight. If Canelo decides to fight him, it's just like another opponent, like fighting Plant or fighting another guy. Jermall Charlo has a little bit more name and he's more well known because he's a bit more outspoken. He's a better salesman. He knows how to promote himself a bit better than those other guys, and the boxing world is more familiar with Jermall Charlo than they are with the others. But in terms of fight, I think it's just as competitive as what Plant or Saunders was. It's not exactly. Stylistically, it's probably an easier fight for Canelo because Jermall Charlo's style probably favors, suits Canelo a lot more than someone like Billy Joe or Plant. But yeah, I think Jermall Charlo needs to focus more on Andrade, because let's be honest, a lot of people want to see Andrade and Jermall Charlo fight. So rather than focusing on Canelo Alvarez, maybe he should focus on the middleweight division. And I know he wants to fight Golovkin. But why not fight Andrade? That's the question. That's the question that we've got to ask. Why is Jermall Charlo and Andrade not being made? Jermall Charlo has not got a fight. Andrade has not got a fight. Andrade has got a fight. He's got a mandatory challenger there. But why not fight in a unification fight against Andrade? Questions have to be asked because the mandatory won't come in the way if the unification is made. And it seems like Andrade wants to make that fight. And I don't know what's happened with the WBC ordering that fight. Can't the WBC order that fight? Can't the WBC and WBO work together and order that fight and make that unification? I don't know what's going on. I think, the boxing world would be so happy if that was to happen. The boxing world would be overjoyed if that fight was to be made. The boxing world would be so happy. But unfortunately, it seems like the boxing world doesn't always get what it wants. And it can be quite disappointing. It can be quite demoralizing for the fans because that is just what I would call such a juicy fight between two undefeated American middleweight champions. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, whether you say it's Jermall that's ducking Andrade, it's just not getting made. It's just disappointing, frustrating for us fans. But Jermall's saying that, Canelo's running from him and Canelo doesn't want to fight him. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like, Canelo Alvarez is going to cruiserweight. He's fighting a cruiserweight champion. What's the fascination in fighting Canelo? Canelo's out the way. Canelo's doing his own thing. Jermall Charlo's not going to get a Canelo fight anytime soon. Canelo's probably going to then, I doubt he's going to stay at cruiserweight. He's going to go back down to 175. So unless Jermall Charlo moves up to 175, look, Canelo's not going to go back down to 168 in my opinion, because he's achieved everything he wanted to at 168 as a undisputed champion. Now he's going to go up to 175. So those guys are going to have to come and see him at 175. We're hearing that Andrade might move up to 168. He might vacate the 160 title, move up to 168 because he's Canelo's mandatory. He'd become automatically made Canelo's mandatory. But Canelo don't care about the belts at 168 because he's achieved what he wanted to do and become undisputed. So Canelo's not care. He'll just vacate and move up to 175 and fight the 175-pound champions. But for me, Jermall Charlo and Andrade should fight each other. That should be a fight that should be made. Neither Andrade, why is Andrade even thinking about moving up to 168? Because that's risky. Because if Canelo then decides to vacate all the belts, Andrade's going to be left in the same position. He's not going to get the Canelo fight. He's going to may have to fight Benavidez or something for the belt. So personally, I think the biggest fight for both Andrade and Charlo would be each other. I think that's the biggest fight out there for both of them, and that's the fight I think they should both be targeting. I don't think they should be looking at any other fight. I don't think they should be looking to fight any other fight apart from themselves. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing that that we're not getting these big fights. We need to start getting these big fights. We need to start getting these guys in the ring with each other. Unfortunately, it's just not happening. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for the fans. Like, I'm a little frustrated because I want to see these guys fight each other. But, for whatever reason, these fights are just not coming off. They're not getting made for whatever reason. It's disappointing. It's frustrating. But I guess that's just the state of boxing right now, It's all a business. But let's go on to another topic. I told you I wanted to talk about... I haven't focused on the heavyweight division for a pretty long time. But there is some good news in the heavyweight division. Apparently, Tyson Fury, the WBC have ordered Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte to fight, which is very, very good news, which is, Dillian Whyte, who was waiting for his shot for so many years now. And now it looks like he's finally going to get it. If there's a big caveat here, because obviously we know that Anthony Joshua is also in discussions, potentially taking step aside. So then Tyson Fury can fight Alexander Usyk in a unification fight. The only problem is, I don't know with the WBC ordering that fight, does that mean the Usyk fight can't be made? But if the Usyk fight was, to be made and Joshua does step aside, does that mean that the Dillian Whyte fight doesn't happen? And what does that mean for Dillian Whyte? Because the chances are Joshua's going to be fighting the winner for the undisputed titles. So this is why I'm a little bit confused. Does that mean that Dillian White's going to have to wait even longer? Because just say if the Fury and Usyk fight does take place, right? Joshua's going to be fighting the winner next, not Dillian White. So does that mean that Dillian White's going to have to wait even longer? So this is what I mean. Like, Dillian White deserves his shot. And listen, I personally hope that the Joshua Usyk fight does happen and Dillian White Tyson Fury does happen, so Dillian can get his shot. Dillian can get his shot, and that he deserves for a very long time. If Tyson Fury was to win, which I would expect him to against Dillian. Not to say it's an easy fight, but I do expect Tyson Fury to win that. I personally think that Usyk will beat Joshua again. And I think then we'll get an undisputed fight because all the hurdles will be out the way. But it will be interesting if Joshua does decide to step aside. What happens with the Dillian White situation? Because Dillian White's not going to be impressed if Tyson Fury gets, it's ordered that Tyson Fury is allowed to fight Usyk in an undisputed fight, and then Joshua will probably get the winner. What does Dillian White do in the meantime? Dillian White will be left in the cold. And like I said, Dillian White will be left with no title shot again. And, he could be waiting 1 year, 2 years, God knows when he'll get that. Because if Tyson Fury is going to fight Usyk and then the winner's going to fight Joshua, that's a good year gone. That's over a year maybe gone. So this is what I'm saying. And obviously with the current situation and the way the world is at the minute, and especially with tightening of the restrictions. We already saw Golovkin and Murata got cancelled because of COVID. There's obviously there's a surge in cases. So we may end up seeing some more cancellations in fights. So, Dillian White might be left in the cold. So I really hope that Dillian White does get his shot now. It does look like the WBC have ordered it. But like I said, if Anthony Joshua does step aside and Usyk and Fury... Usyk and Fury is allowed to be made, will the WBC be okay with that? If the WBC are okay with that fight happening, then Dillian White's gonna have to wait. So I don't know the full ins and outs because although the Fury White fight is on, there could be a caveat if, like I said, Anthony Joshua does step aside and Fury and Usyk get it on. Then what happens to Dillian White? Poor Dillian White's going to be waiting again. So I think he should get his shot because I think it would be harsh on him and I think he deserves a shot. I think, he's been waiting for so long, just give him his shot. But then at the same time, I want to see Fury v Usyk as well. But something tells me that Fury Usyk's not going to happen. I just don't get a good feel about it. Just like when Fury and Joshua was being talked about, I just didn't get a good feel about it. I didn't think that fight was going to happen. And I feel the same way about Fury Usyk. I can't really see that being pulled off. I think the White situation with Fury is there. I think Joshua, is he going to really want to step aside? And if he is going to step aside, he's going to want a lot of money. And is there going to be a lot of money there? I don't know who's going to pay him that step aside because Joshua's going to want huge money. And then he's going to want to have a crack at the winner. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know whether it's practical. I don't know whether it's going to happen. But time will tell. Time will tell. But what do you guys make of it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Who do you think? Do you think Fury beats White? Do you think Joshua could upset Usyk? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.